Hello, and welcome to an intro to Anthro with two humans. I'm human number one, John McCray.
And I'm human number two, John Lehr.
And this is the podcast where we reassess what it means to be human. And the title of this episode is, And It Stoned Me Just Like Jelly Roll, the mind-blowing genius of prehistoric stone tools.
Oh, boy.
So, John...
This is a big one. I got a box in the mail last week.
Yeah.
And by the way, well packed.
Was it?
You know how to pack a box.
OCD.
Do you ever? Yeah.
It's an OCD.
Yeah, but it's an OCD. I really appreciated it. I mean, he had rocks wrapped in bubble wrap.
Right.
To protect the rocks.
I know. We don't want them being Flintknapped before they even get there. You know, we need to have them protected.
Well, I'm super excited about this, but I do. Before we get underway, I do want to give a shout out. We received these incredible keychains. That
right.
I'm not probably not doing it well. There you go. If you watch us on YouTube, you can see it's this. I don't know, like a 1/4-inch thick metal sculpture of Bigfoot.
Right.
Bigfoot walking, and it comes to us from Sasquatch Metalworks. And they're fans, right?
Yeah,
and they like the show.
Friends of the show, fans of the shows, Ann and Michael in New York on Long Island. And they sent those to us. Brilliant people, hilarious, really fun. She has a poetry blog as well. And Michael is an astronomer and musician. Just really, but thank you, Ann and Michael.
Sounds very much like me and my family. They sound so fascinating. All we do is watch Netflix. This is great, though. I love this. I'm going to use this. I'm really thankful for it. Thank you so much. And I think the show should purchase some of these and give them out.
I would love
gifts.
It, yeah.
Or we'll need some sort of tie-in with Sasquatch Metalworks.
We'll do it'll be like Mardi Gras. We'll drive around and throw those out the back of our float. So.
Oh wait, it's Squatch. It's just Squatch, man. Oh shit, yeah. I'm a terrible person. I'm sorry. Yeah. I've been working long hours. It's Squatch, SQUATCH Metalworks, and we'll drop a link in our description.
And you could go in later, John, and just dub that, right?
What? No, God damn it! Now I have to.
All right, so let's get down to business. First of all, John, like I said, we're going to be discussing stone tools, but also the title of this episode is a tip of the hat to the Van Morrison 1970 song, And It Stoned Me.
Yeah. Old lamb chops himself. By the way, just a factoid, a young Professor McCray was a dead ringer for early Van Morrison. When we were hitchhiking in Europe, you looked like Van Morrison.
It didn't help us. It didn't help us get picked up at all.
No, if anything.
I don't know. My ancestry runs through Northern Ireland. So maybe there's just something about Northern Ireland and that big round head and lamb chops.
You guys do look. Can't sing worth a dime. No. That part is where you guys diverge.
Yeah. I'm more, it's the silence. I'm like John Cage. Who was it, John Cage that did his like 14 bars of silence. I'm more that type of musician.
Yeah.
I'm an interpreter. I interpret music.
Yeah. Cage and Buckminster Fuller, a hero of the show,
really?
Went to Black Mountain College, I believe, at the same time.
Really?
I think so.
Those parties.
Those two.
Man.
Can you imagine having coffee with those two between classes?
But anyway, And It Stoned Me is a song about a mystical experience that Van Morrison had when he was 12 years old.
Yeah, with a reefer.
Yeah. In an interview, Morrison said that it happened when he was out fishing with a friend, and they stopped in a village, and an old man gave them some water which he'd gotten from a stream. And Morrison said that when he drank it, quote, everything seemed to stop for me. Time stood still. For 5 minutes, everything was really quiet, and I was in this other dimension. That's what the song is about.
Somebody was peeing upriver.
I know. It's like, in the song they say like it's a guy with sunshine in his eyes, and he gives him a drink from a jar, and it's like, man, something tells me there's more than just stream water in there.
White lightning.
Yeah. But it's very Proustian in a way, because it's like he's being taken to another dimension with having drank a fluid or like a beverage or eaten something, and
something very mundane that transports him. Yes,
right. And I think at some point we'll have to do an episode on memory. I'd love to do one on memory and what provokes memory.
Well, Professor McCray, in addition to being an anthropologist, is a Proustian scholar. So I have a feeling we're going to go down a rabbit hole on that one.
Yeah, it's on its way. Don't worry. But then what Morrison says is that the whole experience stoned him, meaning like it blew his mind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he says it stoned him just like Jelly Roll. And some people think that he's referring to the pianist Jelly Roll Morton.
Oh, not the pastry? That's what I always thought. Stoned him just like a jelly roll. I'm always like, that must have been a good donut.
Yeah.
Okay.
Krispy Kreme. He never went to Krispy Kreme.
Yeah. Listen, if you've had a warm Krispy Kreme, I can see how that'd be a spiritual experience. Oh my God, I love those things.
And then some people think that he's referring to jelly roll, which was African American slang back in the 1800s, early 1900s, meaning sex.
Ooh.
Jelly roll. And I think that's where Jelly Roll Morton got his nickname, was actually because of that.
And now we have Jelly Roll the singer.
Right.
Is that who you're saying? Is it his Jelly Roll the singer? Is his last name Morton?
No. Jelly Roll Morton was an early jazz pianist back in like 1910, 1920.
God.
Yeah.
So and apparently Jelly Roll is a country western singer with face tattoos.
Yeah.
The next meth addict, I think.
Yeah. Oh, really?
I think so. He's in recovery or something.
He could still blow my mind. Mind.
Yeah.
But in the article, The Meaning of Van Morrison's and It Stoned Me, Chris Huber says, these experiences that Morrison says stoned him are examples of certain moments from growing up that become part of one's core memories. So this is and Rebecca Little on the Old Time Music website says the metaphor of being stoned here refers to a sense of being deeply affected, almost intoxicated by the experience.
I can relate to that. I have a memory of laying in the front yard of my house in Kansas, looking up at the clouds, and it was nothing fancy, no burning bushes or anything, but I felt very connected, very, peaceful.
Right.
Yeah. Very, very moved.
Yeah. I think that's what he's talking about in the song is just, it was a profound experience, whatever caused it. And I love the song because it's kind of he sets up the whole mundanity of it.
Yes.
Of like they're just going out fishing, and then this whole thing happens when they're on their way home, and it just stoned him. And I think you and I remember when we did the comedic lectures, we did a show called 10 Ultimate Moments.
Yes, we did.
And that was where you discussed like 10 moments that defined who you were.
It was a great show.
Yeah, it was.
These were a series of solo performances that directed by Professor McCray and co-written and co-created and all of that. That I would go up on stage like a college lecturer and give a lecture, but really it was just a brilliant conceit conceived by Professor McCray to kind of like do a solo performance without, being pretentious.
Yeah. And
that was
the
our
reason
whole goal. We hated solo shows, but we wanted to do one, essentially.
Usually solo shows, just something about it. Usually you get just your unless you're famous already, you get just your friends and family
Yes.
to come to them.
Well, there's two types of solo shows. There's the solo show where you're auditioning for Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
And then there's the solo show where you're just naked in a corner, talking about some horrible thing that happened in your life. That's basically it.
So you would have first opening night packed.
Yes,
opening night.
right.
And then after opening night, all your friends and family are like, God, I can't go see that thing.
Yeah.
So they stopped coming. So what we did to get around that was to always have an audience and make our family and friends keep coming back, was we did 6 different shows.
It was genius. Hard as hell to pull off, but genius.
Yeah.
Completely functional.
It was functional. It was completely functional.
Yep.
But anyway, these are the moments in our lives which have profound impacts on us and define and shape who we are. And for some reason, this title seemed appropriate to me today because we're going to be talking about stone tools and how important stone tools were to early humans and human evolution.
Well, my way into this episode is I've sent you some marijuana, and I know it's been I don't think you and I can handle that.
I don't
marijuana
know.
Now.
Yeah, it's too
Not
much.
what we smoked.
Yeah.
There are no seeds or stems or anything.
K-weed.
You don't
Kansas
put it in a
weed.
Frisbee anymore and use your driver's license to clean it.
But anyway, I would say in the lifetime, quote unquote, lifetime of humans as a species, the invention of the first stone tool was an event that stoned us. See how I'm getting back to them?
Yeah,
and it was a defining moment that would change us forever.
Yeah. The first time we bashed some other primate with a rock was huge. Huge.
It's like the first time you hit your brother with a plastic tomahawk or something.
Yeah. Shit. Yeah. Wow.
When I was a kid at like 3 years old, I cut my brother David's forehead open with a plastic tomahawk.
Wow. That's the kind of toy that a young white boy is not going to be having these days.
Right.
You don't get that for Christmas very often.
Oh, the thrill. I could say, that was defining. I could still feel that moment of drawing blood.
My brother threw a bunch of TV trays at me. And a big bunch of them knocked me to my knees. And my mom just pushed both of us out in the backyard and locked the door.
I was like, what? He would finish you off with a remote control, like fashion with the.
They were metal. They were heavy as hell. It was like 5 of them. We just picked them up and just like we were in a wrestling stage or something.
John, quick question though. What would you consider to be the greatest invention of your lifetime?
Well, I mean, the first thing is masturbation. That comes to mind.
Right,
I mean, that's probably number one. Everybody says the wheel or fire or any of that stuff. I don't think that's really it.
In your lifetime. In
my lifetime. Oh, God. The greatest? Like good, that did a lot of good. God, I don't know. Drive-through bars in Texas, you could get a beer through the drive-through.
Yeah. They have that in New Mexico too, in Albuquerque. I don't know if they still do it, but you could see the drive-up window in a liquor store. Like you don't even have to. You don't even have to walk, It's like
it's the same genius who put darts and pool balls in a bar. The most dangerous weapons you could possibly have. Put it in a bar.
Yeah. I think for me, the last piece of technology that really blew my mind was the microwave.
Yeah. You've discussed that. It is pretty amazing. It just makes stuff hot.
I know. I remember being at the 7-Eleven at 87th and Grant in Overland Park, Kansas. It would have been like 1978. Yeah. I would have been 12. So maybe like people, when you're 12, you have these profound experiences.
Yeah.
But I remember staring. It was a huge brown microwave.
Right. They were big.
Yeah. And I remember just staring in awe as it heated a frozen hot dog in like a minute and a half. And it blew my fucking mind.
It stoned you.
I know.
It stoned you.
I equate it to when people first saw an airplane flying. It seemed so advanced. Of like, why wasn't this thing in NASA or, in a hospital or a laboratory somewhere? Because it was so advanced. It was like alien technology to me.
Like, now that you mention that, I guess my version would be, first of all, I think of what was that paper mate that was white stuff that could correct your typing?
Whiteout or whatever, or whiteout.
Yeah, not only would it correct your typing, but you could huff it as well and get a good buzz off of it. So it was like double trouble. I loved that shit. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Because up until then, you made a mistake, you were screwed. You'd have to go in there with a pen and try to turn a 6 into a G or something.
Yeah, it probably also reduced absenteeism at work because people could just, it gets a little stressful. You go have a little huff off of the whiteout in there.
I don't think people, my kids can't relate to the fact of typing a paper and getting all the way through it and without mistake and being done, being like, oh, thank God.
Oh, yeah. And then there was two things. Either just don't proof it so you can't tell if you made a mistake. You have to go back in. Or you'd have to go back in with like whiteout and have to like line it all up again and everything.
Well, when the Mac came out, everybody's talking about the computer, but the thing that blew my mind was copy and paste.
Yeah.
That changed my life. Copy and paste? Wait, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
It made it from writing a paper taking 5 days to writing a paper taking 2 hours.
Right.
You just vomit all your thoughts and then move it around and then send it in.
Yeah, it's all in the editing. And I love the editing myself now. But I was late coming to computers. Like I typed on a actual electric typewriter for years.
Yeah.
And used to love the sound of it. I love the sound of an electric
My mom
typewriter.
typed at night to make extra money, and she was a great typist. So I would, to this day, if I hear typing, it kind of makes me drowsy.
Yeah.
It's like rain.
But I was thinking about the food that came out of those early, that hot dog and those frozen food at 7-Eleven tasted awful at the time. You put it in there and it would taste like melted plastic. Like they hadn't perfected the ability to preserve frozen
those
foods
nuclear reactors they had in there couldn't penetrate it properly.
And I have a similar story. About 10 years ago, I was TAing an anthropology class at New Mexico Highlands University. And all of a sudden, I was in the middle of the class, I was teaching, and all of a sudden, all the fire alarms started going off. And so, you get all the students up, anybody that's taught, you got to get all the students, everybody's just kind of grabbing their stuff. Okay, we all got to go outside. And I get out in the hallway and you can actually smell smoke. You could see smoke, you could smell smoke. And I'm like, oh God, this is not a joke. This is the real thing. So we finally get everyone outside. The fire trucks arrive, firemen run inside with their like tanks on and their masks and run in, and we're all like waiting, about 150 of us outside, all waiting. And pretty soon one of the firemen comes back out and he's like, it's okay. It's a hot pocket. It's a hot pocket. And somebody, a graduate student had gone into the graduate lounge, put in a hot pocket, turned it on, and then left without staying for it. And the thing is, the microwave in the graduate lounge had a faulty timer on it. It wouldn't go off.
Oh, so it just kept nuking and nuking and nuking and nuking.
Yeah.
And that, I don't know. You someday, as an old man, when you die of cancer, we're going to know where you caught it.
I know.
Son of a bitch.
I don't know what they put in that thing, what petroleum products, but that hot pocket smoked up the building like a tire fire. You know what I mean? It was like the whole place had gone up in flames. You know?
Those hot pockets, though. Late at night, coming home from a bar, stopping at the 7-Eleven. Oh, give me a hot pocket, brother.
Yeah. But John, everything since then, as far as like cell phones,
Yeah.
your
No,
personal computer, everything.
those don't.
Nothing really stoned me like the microwave.
No, the computer and the phones have too many bad sides. It's like you kind of come out. It's a wash in the end.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know.
And I would say, even looking at technology in the last 20 years, it's been like a profound achievement in technology that we're living through right now. Like
Yeah.
light years. Like within the
Yes.
last 20 years, we've seen light year advancement of
And
technology.
I think the real stuff is still to come. I
Right.
think the chips
Right.
in the head and wireless electricity. Wireless electricity is going to blow. I saw a driverless car parallel park in front of my wife's shop the other day.
Oh no.
And he did it. It got it in the first.
Really?
Yeah, it nailed it.
Oh my
Nailed
god.
it.
Oh my
I
god.
was just looking at it because it has all these whirly birds. Have you seen them? They're like
No,
white.
no, we don't.
They're all over LA.
Yeah.
All over LA. They hire people to sit behind the wheel, but they're
Yeah.
not holding it. They're just sitting there in case you like hit a kid or something. But
Oh, really?
yeah, I mean,
Yeah, in New Mexico, we do driverless the old-fashioned way. People just just fall asleep or pass out in their cars.
drive with their knees.
But anyway, from our modern perspective, I think it's easy to look at stone tools and think that they're primitive.
Yeah.
And to think that, like, oh, look at that, the poor dumb caveman had to bang a couple rocks together, tie it to a stick, and throw it at a woolly mammoth or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I just want to remind everyone that, for 1.5 million years, I want to stress million years, 1.5 million years, the most advanced technology on the planet was the Acheulean stone hand axe.
Wow. 1.5 million. How long did the first round of iPhones go? Like what? A couple years? A year?
Yeah. Yeah.
1.5 million. That's a good invention.
I know.
Jesus.
It's named after Santa Schule in France, where it was first discovered, but it's since been discovered all throughout. This type of hand axe has been found all throughout Africa,
Always
Europe.
the French. The
Asia.
French find so much stuff. Why?
Yeah, they were the first ones. The first ones back in the 1800s.
So many things
really
you
looking
said,
for it.
like caves and tools and bones, and all in France. What's going on?
They were into it before everybody else, I guess. Is what.
Well, they're also socialists with like a 4-day work week, so they got a lot of time just to walk around.
Yeah, get out, see what you could do having that extra time off.
Just kicking around in the. Hey, what's that?
Call your congressman, everybody.
Your
congressman, everybody. But the thing is, well, the Acheulean hand axe, came about like 1.7 million years ago. Prehistoric hominins, like Homo erectus, began shaping stones into a teardrop shape. Okay,
yes.
so it's on both sides. It's called a biface. You have two sharp sides. Mm-hmm. It comes to a point, and then the end is rounded so that you can hold it in your hand, and you can pound with it. You can cut meat with it. You can pound with it.
Stab somebody in the eye.
Yeah. But the thing is, the Acheulean hand axe was so perfectly designed. Like you said, people didn't need to change it for 1.5 million years.
It was the paperclip. I love stuff like that, where you just get it right. And it's like, that's it. Done.
Right. And so today, John, we're going to look at the development of stone tools and see how revolutionary the design was. And the use of stone tools was for our ancestors 2 to 3 million years ago.
Jesus, I feel like I should stretch out and warm up for this one. I feel like you're taking us on a big ride here.
Yeah, this is, when you think about it, it's hard to comprehend. We're talking millions of years. And like the Acheulean hand axe, first used around 1.7 million years ago.
God,
and stopped being used 200,000 years ago.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's a patent. That's
yeah.
Wow.
That thing is like, but anyway, after we talk about stone tools, you and I are going to try to make a stone tool together.
Yes, we are. It's not going to go well. I have a feeling.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the equipment here, and it's not going to go well.
Right. We're going to give it a go.
Okay.
And you think it'd be pretty straightforward making a stone tool. Like, I don't know, just without ever having done one, I've always
Yeah.
thought that it would be easy to do.
Yeah.
But believe it or not, stone tool technology is really complicated. And
Yes.
it's one of the most researched topics in archaeology and physical
Really?
anthropology. Yeah. And I'm talking about detailed research. So even things down to the detail of how a flake is removed from the stone core or the piece of stone that you're
Oh,
hitting.
that's easy. Teeth. You just grab it in your teeth. Like a beer bottle. My Uncle
Just
Don used to open beer with his teeth.
he can produce a thousand
He
stone tools and
yeah, he can make a hand axe, no problem. No problem.
And then also, they'll look at like the amount of energy required, the type of material selected, the angle of the blow on the top of the stone
Yeah,
tool.
that's the hardest
Uh,
part.
you'll look at the angle of the edge of the stone tool, like where the angle meets the edge that you're going to try to make a
Mhm.
flake from. Um, and
Jesus.
all of these things, whether consciously or subconsciously, uh, were being done by our ancestors 3 million years ago.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing.
yeah.
Amazing.
So
I
hopefully,
think
I mean,
as you're saying that, I'm thinking like, God, that's the way you spend your life is researching how the flakes come off and everything. And then I stopped myself and thought, well, what the hell are you doing with yours? Getting
yeah,
hair glued to your face and doing commercials. That's what you're doing.
yeah.
So
I mean, it's really the amount of literature in anthropology and archaeology about stone tools is amazing. Like, it's so detailed about down to the physical, like formula, the physical, mathematical equation of how these are formed. Some people will make, they do, like they'll go out. One guy actually made them, and then he went out to Africa when they were culling an elephant herd. And after like the park rangers had like culled an elephant and the elephant was already dead, he would go up and, and throw a stone tool at it to see how it worked, to see, what woolly mammoths.
oh
so,
my
so,
God.
so it's amazing. But hopefully when we're done, you and I and our hopefully our listeners as well will be stoned like Jelly Roll
Like
about
jelly roll. Yeah.
how complex this was. So the first thing we always talk about when we talk about stone tools is, why are there so many stone tools in these million-year-old prehistoric sites? And the thing is, the question comes up. Well, didn't they use wood or any plant matter or something like that for the tools? And it's like, yeah, without a doubt they did. But unfortunately, all of that stuff decomposes.
Right.
So so the only thing that we have when you're looking at, even sites a few hundred years old sometimes, the only thing you have are the stone tools.
Yeah. Or
So
pottery.
yeah,
That's kind of like I remember walking around with you and you stopped and picked up what looked like to me like a rock. You go, here's a piece of old pottery.
yeah, yeah.
And I'm just like, Jesus, it's just laying there.
I know, it's all over the place out here. It's all over the place
It's
out here.
amazing.
But when you think back to it for a site, when you're talking like millions of years, like 2.5, 3 million years ago, you may have just had like, some stone tools, a piece of finger bone, and maybe a jawbone or something.
Oh, a finger bone. Like a
Yeah,
human finger bone? You use
yeah.
your own bones?
No, like a hominin, like when you look at it from a site from 2.5
Oh,
million
I
years ago.
see. I see.
Yeah,
Not used as a tool, just because the
right,
bone stays around. Gotcha.
right.
Sorry.
And the thing is, we're trying to, based on that limited evidence, we're trying to make assumptions or conclusions about
Yeah.
prehistoric culture at that time.
Yeah.
And it'd be like, I would ask you, like, if someone were looking at just your jaw, your index finger, and the screwdriver, what
Mm.
could they tell about you?
Mm.
I don't know. You know what I mean? That's
I think
basically
that's
what it
pretty
is.
much me. I think you got me. You got me.
Oh, you
gotta-
usually put your finger up.
Yeah, I put my finger up there to shush while I'm doing something horrible with the screwdriver.
Look how perfectly his finger fits to the jawbone. This guy was a shusher. He was a shusher. The next thing
especially when he was putting in a wood screw.
Yeah.
He hated people talking when he's working with his screwdriver.
Yeah. Look, that screwdriver, for me, it'd be like, look, that screwdriver has absolutely no markings on the end. This was never used. It was never used.
Well, you can tell about personality whether I use a flat head or,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You could draw some assumptions.
Some assumptions, I think but not many. Not many. You're right.
You're a little bit more complex than that, I would say.
I don't know.
Yeah. The next thing we're going to talk about are how old are these stone tools? And in an article called The Origins of Stone Tool Technology in Africa, Ignacio de la Torre says that for many years, the oldest tools that had been found were 2.6 million years old.
Okay.
And even
how
when
do they know they used them that long?
Well, you would look at where the tools themselves were found, the sediment that they were found in.
Yeah.
And then you can test the sediment through different processes like optical stimulated luminescence, which is a process that you can date.
Sounds like a fun Saturday night, too. You know what I mean?
OSL. You into for a little OSL?
Hey, I'd like to check out the OSL machine.
Yeah.
Really? What are you going to do with it? I'm going to look at stone tools and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
But even when I was in grad school like 15 years ago, 2.6 million years was kind of like the accepted age for stone tools.
Wow.
Or the first stone tools. And these tools were found by archaeologists Lewis and Mary Leakey in the 1930s while they were working in the Olduvai Gorge in Tanzania.
The Leakeys, always at the forefront.
Yeah, they're big in the... did you, when you went to Tanzania, did you come across any leaky museums or anything?
I saw a guy, and I think I told you this, up in a palm tree, or looked like a palm tree.
Yeah.
And it was just swaying back and forth. And I asked a guy, what's he doing up there? And they're like, well, they take plastic garbage bags or grocery bags, and they wrap the fruit up there like they're like dates or something. And then it ferments like wine. And they go up there and just drink the wine and sway at the top of a tree. And I thought, God, that's a gene. That's an invention right there.
That is an invention. That sounds fantastic.
Just go up there, get wasted, and swing around in the wind on top of a date tree.
Hey, we have some apple trees here. I may try that. Just be like, I'm going to go work on the lawn, and then go out in the back a couple hours
later. What's he doing up there?
He's got some prison hooch up in the tree that he's. But they called these tools Oldowan, which sounds like something from Star Trek. But they called it Oldowan, Oldowan, because they had been found in the Olduvai Gorge in Tanzania. Okay. So these oldest tools are called Oldowan technology. And the archaeologists Colin Renfrew and Paul Bond note that these early tools were usually just simple choppers and flakes made by knocking pieces of pebbles to create a sharp edge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
I get
so
that.
It's usually You
so get it's hungry just enough, you're going to do anything.
Yeah. And what they did is, they found some bones in the area that they attributed to Australopithecus, which we've talked about Australopithecus before.
That's Lucy, right? Or is that Lucy? Right. Yeah.
She's a type of Australopithecus. There's different types of Australopithecus, but that's basically the species.
Hot. Lucy, I don't know, man.
Yeah. You love Lucy.
She was the Marilyn Monroe of that strain of hominids.
And they were like 3.5 to 5 feet tall, weighed about 60 to 100 pounds.
Little dink balls.
I know. And then there was also, they found some other bones in the area of prehistoric hominin called Paranthropus boisei, which was like 4 foot tall to 4'6", weighing about 75 to 108 pounds.
God, just nothing.
Yeah. Right. But boisei had really strong jaws and really big teeth. And so most anthropologists for many years said, well, boisei, obviously they must be like modern day gorillas and just eat like plant matter all the time. That's the reason why they needed those strong jaws. And the thing is, though, at the time when these tools were found, most anthropologists couldn't quite pull themselves to say whether or not Australopithecus or Paranthropus had made them. And that's because their brains were so small.
Oh,
So,
no.
yeah. So the brain of an Australopithecus, I'm talking about the brains of the Australopithecus, not the brains of the anthropologist. But
the brains of
but
the anthropologists were too big. That's our problem.
Yeah,
they got too
overthought
big.
it.
We thunk ourselves into extinction.
Right.
Is what we've done.
So Australopithecus, the brain was like 387 to 550 cubic centimeters. Paranthropus was
Whoa.
a little bit bigger, 475
What
to
is that, like a lemon?
545.
What is that? Like a
Well,
how big is that?
Our brains are like 1,500 to 2,000 on
Right.
average.
So a third.
So a third of the size of our brains.
So a tangerine maybe is the size of their
yeah.
the tennis ball.
Right. And so they said, well, their brains are too small. They obviously couldn't come up with this complicated technology. But then also, there was this kind of this belief for like the last 2,500 years of Western civilization that humans were the only ones that used tools. And humans were the only ones that were smart enough to create tools.
Mm-hmm.
And so the idea was, well, these tools had to, since humans are the only ones that make tools or use tools, then it has to be a member of our genus. It has to be a member of genus of Homo who created these things. Mm-hmm. But you see the flawed logic there.
Yes. You're working backwards.
Right. And you're trying to find what you already believe.
Right.
And you're trying to make conclusions about what you already believe.
Yeah, that's a big problem. That's like what that leads to stuff like the Earth is the center of the universe.
Yeah.
And everything revolves around it.
Yeah. Instead of going where the evidence takes you, you've decided where you want to go, and you'll only accept the evidence that takes you there. I
think to be a good anthropologist or archaeologist, you got to have some self-loathing. You got to kind of not think you're the shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's hard. You got to be able to let go of some things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's well, everybody always talks about, those scientists think they know everything. It's like, no, a real scientist is, well, this is what I know up to this point. And if new evidence comes along, I may have to just drop everything that I knew.
That's the first time that I've thought that maybe I could be a scientist now. Because I'm stupid enough to go, hey, what? I don't know.
Yeah. That's what just keep asking questions and feel free to like throw everything out if it doesn't fit.
So you're saying you're purporting that scientists need to be idiots in order to be good scientists.
I don't know about that.
I'm printing that. We're putting that right in the.
Oh, I can't wait.
Professor McCray says scientists are idiots.
There go the conference invitations. But Conrad Kotak says that although humans do employ tools much more than any other animal does, tool use also turns up among several non-human species.
Yeah,
including birds,
birds,
bees, beavers, sea otters, and apes.
And apes, yeah. You ever seen an ape stick a stick in an anthill?
Right,
and lick it off.
That's using a tool.
That's a tool.
And that's also, for people that we're like, well, okay, but humans are the only ones that make tools. And it's like that chimp is taking that stick and picking the leaves off and is actually fashioning a tool out of it. So we're not even the only ones. Make sure
it's the right diameter to stick down in that anthill. You can't stick a log down there. You stick a log down there, you're not going to get any ants. You're not going to get in there.
Yeah.
So it's like you're just going to get like one ant.
But you see the mental process that's going on there. There's a lot of decisions in there.
Yeah, yeah, I get that.
In 1990, there was an anthropologist named Nicholas Toth, and he even did an experiment where he taught some bonobos to make stone tools.
He did? Yeah. Toth did that?
Yeah, and he notes that on the first day, the bonobo he was working with learned both the flaking and the cutting tasks. And he had made his first tool within a month of the onset of the experiment.
Wow.
So,
See, I think the bonobos are at the top and the
yeah,
rest of
yeah,
us fall down underneath. I think they got it right.
yeah. It's
They
only a
didn't
matter of time with them. Yeah,
Yeah.
only a matter of time.
They didn't over-evolve. That's a
Right.
problem. You
Yeah.
Over-evolve. Look at us. Now we
Yeah.
got to get our billionaires to shoot our trash up at the moon.
Yeah. And I would also wonder, like, knowing the bonobos, it's like, what exactly are they out there fashioning out there?
Yeah, with the bonobos. Because they
He's
love
really made a
making
lot
love.
of tools out there,
Yeah, he's got that looks like a ball gag.
Just look at him go. Look at him go, just clicking away on that thing. But again, for most of our history, we just thought that we were the only ones. We were the only ones that did it, made tools. So then in 1960, De La Torre says, anthropologists working again in Olduvai Gorge found the remains of a hominin that looked different from Australopithecus and Paranthropus. And in Evolution, the Human Story, Alice Roberts notes that these remains included a partial cranium, a mandible, part of the jaw.
Always the mandible. It's always the man. Why?
I think it's because it's so robust. Like, it is so strong because of all the stress that's put on it from chewing that it's able to survive.
Yeah. Interesting. And also you can recognize it probably easier. Like, oh, okay.
Right.
It's distinct.
Yeah. And also, like, even with human remains, when someone dies, usually animals will come and carry off a lot of those bones. Or, so even on, like, historical remains, or even like at crime scenes, oftentimes you don't have a complete skeleton because something's got in there. But anyway, what they did is they determined that this hominin had a larger brain and was more gracile, meaning it was like finer movements and everything. It had a finer skeleton than the Australopithecines, and it looked more similar to us. Okay, so just based on this partial cranium, mandible, hand bones, and part of a foot, they said this is definitely part of our species.
Wow. Okay. All right.
And so because they were like, okay, we found it. This is part of the human species. This is a Homo. This must be the one that made those tools, because we've been looking for 50 years trying to find whoever made these tools.
Meanwhile,
and so they
bonobo's making them right down the street.
Just cranking them out. He's only been doing it for 2 months, and look at him. But anyway, that's what. So they named it Homo habilis, which means handyman.
I remember this from college.
Yeah, and they were like, okay, this is our guy. This is the one that made these tools. And Homo habilis lived like 2.4 million years ago. It was only about 3 foot 3 inches tall to 4 foot 5 inches tall, weighed about 71 pounds, and had a brain size of 600 to 700 cubic centimeters. So its brain was a little bit bigger. So that again,
like a softball. We're at a softball at this point.
Right. But all of that was enough for them to say, okay, this is one of us. This is one of us,
Okay. All right.
And De La Torre says, quote, the arguments used by Leakey to include habilis within the genus Homo were highly controversial. So once again,
Leaky, man, always rubbing people's fur the wrong way.
Yeah, it's really, we'll have to do one on like physical anthropology, because it's a cutthroat world. It's a cutthroat world. Everybody's looking for the big find. You know what I mean?
It's like treasure hunting. That's cool.
Yeah. So once again, cultural traits were tautologically employed, meaning they used circular logic to help justify taxonomic classifications. In this new reading of the evidence, the fact that habilis made stone tools proved that it belonged to the genus Homo. So again,
it's the wrong way.
Yeah.
You can't do that. Even I know that. I mean, you watch a couple episodes of CSI and you know that.
Right. So
you can't jump to conclusions.
You see the backward logic on it.
Yeah.
We're saying, okay, well, these tools could only have been made by a member of our genus Homo.
Mm-hmm.
And then you find something that looks kind of like it may have been genus Homo. And then you say, okay, he must have made the tools. Therefore, he's genus Homo.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, boy.
But anyway, in the last 15 to 20 years, and this is pretty amazing, some new incredible tool evidence has come out. And Michael Balter reports that researchers working in the Dakika site in Ethiopia in 2010 said they had found what appeared to be cut marks on animal bones going back 3.4 million years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And De La Torre says that these cut marks were discovered in a context where only Australopithecus afarensis may have existed.
Lucy.
So again, Lucy's got a knife.
She was hot and badass.
She had a chopper. Lucy has a chopper.
Oh shit, here she comes. Get the other bonobos. Let's go up and make love. Let her walk by.
Yeah. In 2011, anthropologists working at the Lomekwi site in Kenya found stone flakes that were definitely made during tool manufacture. And when they dated them, the sediments in which they were found dated back to 3.3 million years ago.
Wow. Listen, you want to mess with some heads of future archaeologists, take some stuff and bury it really deep. You know what I mean?
Yeah, actually, I think I read that guy who went to Africa, he had made Clovis points, which were found, they're named for out here in Western United States, but they were like from 11,000 years ago, 9,000 years ago, Clovis points. And those were the ones that he was trying on the elephants. And apparently after the experiment, when they got back to the hotel, they realized they had lost one out there. They had dropped it.
Oh, no.
So of course, at some point, some, future archaeologist is going to find this Clovis point in the middle of
using stone tools.
Yeah. How did this technology here from North America is here in Africa? They'd come up with a whole theory about it. You know what I mean? So then in 2023, Julian Lewis and Thomas Plummer said at the Nyayanga site in Kenya, they had found stone tools in deposits that were 2.9 million years ago, along with Paranthropus teeth. So,
what's
anyway,
Paranthropus?
That's like the other one. That's like an Australopithecus.
I see.
Paranthropus boisei. So what is important about this is that, and what's kind of controversial about it, is that we're finding stone tools in sediments and time periods where there were no Homo, the genus Homo yet. So Lewis and Plummer say that Oldowan tools had long been associated with our own genus Homo and were once considered a marker for the beginnings of human modernity. And so now, if we're saying, these were being made prior to humans even coming on the scene, it raises doubts.
Yeah, we're getting back to the age-old question: what is a human? Because they're bipedal. Well, there are other bipedal. The opposable thumb. There are other opposable thumb. Making tools. There's other. So what the hell are we? How do we define ourselves?
Right. And then it was like, well, maybe we were the first ones that made tools, after you come up with all these. And now we're saying, well, it looks like we weren't even the first ones to use tools or make tools. It looks like we are ripping off a Paranthropus. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, do you see what that Paranthropus is doing? What? Don't look. Okay, now look. He's looking away. Look. What's he doing with that stone? I know. That's what I'm saying.
Just walk by. Don't let him catch you looking at it.
I'll make a distraction. You grab it.
Yeah. So, but why is it that obviously, I would say that we're the best at making tools.
Hell yeah.
Way to go, humans.
Yeah.
And some of the things that help us to do it in an article called Tool Making, Hand Morphology, and Fossil Hominins, Mary Marsky looked at the shape and form of hominin hands and its relationship to tool making. And what she found is that humans have unique patterns of grip and hand movement capabilities compatible with effective stone tool making. So, in other words, there seemed to be an advantage to how our hands were shaped that allowed our ancestors to make really good stone tools. And one of the things Marsky notices that humans have forceful pinch grips. So we're really strong pinchers. Yeah.
That's true. We are. You ever been pinched by somebody? You know that. It hurts.
Right. And
Yeah.
that gave an advantage to like helping to shape stone tools, having that really strong pinch grip.
All right.
And apparently that sort of pinch grip doesn't, as strong a pinch grip doesn't exist amongst chimpanzees, for example. They can do it, but it's not as strong. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And the other capabilities are like for controlling and stabilizing stones by each hand simultaneously. So humans can, or our ancestors could control like holding a stone and actually hitting a stone with another stone.
Yeah, but you're going to hit your thumb every now and then. It's just going to happen.
Right.
I don't care how.
Have you read this article? She actually says that.
Really?
Yeah. She says that the other thing that humans have is, we have the capability for exposing the working surfaces of stones during flake removal and minimizing the portion of stone covered by the hand using only the thumb and finger pad. So we're able to kind of hold it on the end.
Oh, yeah. Anybody who slices an onion knows that.
Right. And therefore avoiding crushing our fingers.
Yes. God, I feel like I got to get into this world.
Yeah, I think you would be great. Go back. We could get a grant and we'll take you out and just let you go. You'll be like our bloodhound. Or bloodhound. And then she said, but that one of the other things is that the ratio of our short fingers to our thumb facilitated like cupping things, like cupping a stone tool.
Yes.
And if you think about like chimps, for example, have really long fingers, really long thumbs to wrap around a branch. But just ours having shorter fingers and shorter thumb, it enabled us to better hold on to those cup stone tools when we were making them. Okay. So we're good cuppers.
Yeah.
Good pinchers and good cuppers.
Yeah. All right. Good.
And then the other thing is, well, what about our brains? Like, did the big brain come first, or did the stone tools come first, or did the stone tools come first and the big brain? And in an article called Neural Correlates of Early Stone Age Technology, Dietrich Stout and other researchers, they tried to look at the correlation between brain growth and the development of more sophisticated stone tools.
Okay.
And what happened over the period of like 2.6 million years ago when Oldowan tools were being made, and 1.7 million years ago when we had the Acheulean hand axe first appear, you have like the human brain grew in size like by 3 times.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So that's how you get to a hand axe. You got to triple the size of your brain.
Yeah. And so what Stout did is they actually hooked people up to positron emission tomography or PET scans to look at what part of the brain is being activated when we make stone tools. And then they had like new people make stone tools. Like I say, tool technology is like the most researched thing in
it's
archaeology.
Amazing.
And so they had some people who were novice stone tool makers come in and try to make just an Oldowan chipper.
Yeah.
Then they had like more advanced people try to do like an Acheulean hand axe, and they were watching what part of the brain was activated when they were doing it. And what
can you imagine walking by that room, seeing a bunch of people with electrodes on their head chopping away at stones? What the hell?
Banging rocks together.
What's Friedberg doing down there in room 207? I don't know. But I can't get the pet guy, he's got it checked out for the whole semester.
I'm on the way to go heat up my Hot Pocket. I'll be right back.
I saw Friedberg taking all the stones surrounding the garden out back, putting them in a bag and carrying them in.
Friedberg. Dean wants to see you, Friedberg. But what they found is they found that the neural circuits supporting early Stone Age toolmaking partially overlap with language circuits. And this suggested that these behaviors share a foundation in more general human capacities for complex, goal-oriented action and are likely to have evolved in a mutually reinforcing way.
Interesting.
So in other words, by making tools was it kind of activated some of the same neural circuits as language.
I buy that because, like, when I'm washing dishes, I just start to sing.
Do you?
Sometimes.
Yeah. Tell Freiberg we got a subject for him.
Glue some electrodes on me and give me some rocks.
Yeah. But I think it's, it's sort of a mutual, like remember when we talked about bipedalism, everybody always thought, like, which came first, the big brain or walking on two legs? And then, everybody said, well, you had to have the big brain to walk on two legs. And then we found evidence of, like, no, we had, hominins walking on two legs before a big brain came. And it's kind of the same thing here. It's like, which came first, the sophisticated tools or the big brain? And it looks like it was mutual. It was going back and forth between the two.
Well, you're exercising certain things. I don't know. What do I know? Anyway.
but the thing is, it seems like tool making sort of reinforced our ability for language, or somehow it was,
or there was a
gene
connected to that, and that sort of was the surviving gene that connects the two in some way.
Yeah,
interesting.
Very cool.
All right,
John. We've talked enough. I think it's now time that we.
All right, here we go.
We try to do some ourselves, to see what was going on, and hopefully we won't. Say if you ever try this at home, remember safety first. Don't just go out
first.
And also hopefully there won't be too much blood or smashed fingers or anything on this.
Well, and that fortunately we have enough money coming in on the podcast to take care of any hospital bills.
Yeah, we have a really good medical insurance on this podcast.
Yeah, the HR for Intro to Anthro is amazing.
So anyway, in John Whitaker, in his book Flintknapping, Making and Understanding Stone Tools, says that the word knap actually comes. It's like an old English word that, or it's just an English word that means to break into parts or pieces with a sharp cracking sound.
Knap, so that's a weird N-A-P?
K-N-A-P.
K-N-A-P. All right. I like that.
Yeah. And so that's where we are going to be doing some flint napping.
Excellent.
So we will post this picture of what we have here, John, but let's just kind of go through what we have for us right now. We have, first of all, we have a hammerstone.
Yeah.
And
here,
this is
I'm going to try to give us a little bit of just some video. I know you're going to post it. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, there we go. We have a hammerstone, which this is the stone that we're going to use to hit the other stone.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
This is the little one
river rock,
right?
To me,
right.
Smooth.
So you feel how heavy it is. It has some weight to it.
It does,
and that's our hammer.
Okay. It's like a pet rock. It's like if you had a pet rock, it would be one of these. Okay.
Stick some eyes on that.
Yeah, exactly.
Flintknapping Floyd. We'll sell those on the Anthropology sites.
Great idea. God, is that genius.
So with this, we'll do some hard hammer percussion flintknapping. Okay. Meaning that's what we're going to.
This is our hammer. Got it.
The other thing is we have like an antler here. Damn. And this is what's called a billet, and that has some heft too. You could feel some weight on that.
It does. You could kill somebody with this.
I don't know about that. If you hit them enough.
Yeah, if you stuck up behind him. Oh, yeah.
But this is what this would be used for soft hammer percussion, meaning that you just kind of soft taking some flakes off.
What kind of antler is this? Do we know?
I have no idea. I got this. You can go online to eBay and stuff, and there are people that will put this together for you. So that's where I got this one.
Amazing.
Then we have this, and this is an antler tine. And what people would do is they would use this it's called pressure flaking, meaning that you would poke into a rock, the edge of a rock with the end of this, and then push off a flake. Okay. In other words,
like a chisel a little bit, like a hand chisel kind of.
Right.
You're getting underneath there and flaking it off.
Right. just
So you don't
flicking
have
it
to use
off.
your teeth like my Uncle Don.
Right.
Okay. What
And
are
then we have
these ancient things?
that's it. Those are the
These
gloves. We're going to have to
gloves. They're
use
called
those.
gloves. Okay.
Try them
These.
out. They were
What,
like,
do I put them on my head?
you
All
can put them
right.
on now. Let's go ahead and put them on now.
All
We're
right.
getting
Let's
ready
do
to
that.
go here.
You sent me. You didn't have to send me the gloves. I've got gloves, but these are really nice.
I was ordering those, and
You're so amazing.
In case they
I
get
love
bloody.
them. These remind me of what the Kansas City Chiefs wear. I love it. I love it when they wear the yellow gloves.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you're putting your
All
eye
right,
thing on too. Okay.
Yeah. So we have again safety because these shards are they're sharp when they come off.
That's why
these like
sharp and shard both start with sh to let you know.
And then John, we have pieces of I got some obsidian that we'll try.
What is obsidian?
Here.
It's just
it's volcanic glass.
Yeah.
So
it's cool. Boy, that'll hurt.
And then I also got this. This was from someone online who these are chert, and they've already kind of prepared them for us. So to save time, this is like
I can't say. Is that this?
Yeah.
Okay.
But this is a chert tool, and you can kind of I don't know if not with your gloves on, but you could kind of see the edge on that would be used to make a cutting tool out of that one.
Yeah, I sure can.
And again, I got these. Someone has already prepared these for us.
Amazing.
So, and just a couple things to before we begin, John, to keep in mind when you're trying to select a material to flint knap. Mm-hmm. You're looking for it has to have three characteristics. One, it has to be homogeneous, meaning that it's pretty consistent all the way through. You don't want any other rocks in there.
Right.
Makes sense. It has to be brittle, meaning that it can break. In other words, it's
Yeah. Otherwise, you can't nap anything.
Right. Exactly.
There's no napping if it's not brittle.
Or it can't be so hard that you can't. You pound away on that thing and it never produces a flake.
I got to be honest. All this talk about napping is making me thinking about laying down after all this.
I know. It's like if you called me, it's like, what were you doing? I was out napping. I was out in the backyard napping.
I'm going to change my opinion. The best invention ever was the afternoon nap. That's the invention that I'm going. Forget the paper.
That is.
Yeah, that's the old. Forget stone tools.
I love napping. Big napping. And the other thing, it has to be elastic, meaning that it has to bend a little bit. So it has to be brittle enough to break, but it has to be able to give a little bit as well. Like it can't just shatter. Mm-hmm. And a couple
like
things.
A good lover.
Flint napping for lovers. That's what we need to. That's our book. And so another thing, just the top. That's the part of this is called the core. This is the piece of stone that we're going to be hitting. No, that's like that's just a rough rock to kind of a braider. Yeah. So pick up your.
God damn. I'm having trouble seeing through my safety glasses. Here, I'm going to take. Okay, show it to me again.
Okay, can you see? There we go. So pick up like some of the
obsidian.
Some of the obsidian. Yeah.
All right.
This is called a core. This is what we knock the flakes off of. Okay.
Okay. This is what we're starting with. This is what we're going to make something out of this.
Okay. We're going to try. And usually a couple other just quick things when, people will often come up and be like, hey, is this an arrowhead? And they'll hold up, they'll find a rock somewhere that looks kind of like it's a little pointed on one end. When you flint knap and you apply force to a stone, it actually creates something called a bulba percussion, right? Where you hit the stone. And the bulba percussion, you don't get that in nature, usually. Sometimes, very rarely do you get that in nature. But
a rock would have to fall from very high up and hit it just perfectly.
Right, exactly. And there's always been this thing about there was something called an eolith controversy in the early 1900s in England. And
sorry about that. That was Earl the dog.
That's why.
Oh boy, Earl, come here. You're going to make me have to edit stuff. All right, go ahead. I apologize.
So they were called eoliths, and people found these pebbles in England, and they looked like they had been worked by humans, kind of. And they were like, "Wow, this is evidence that people were making stone tools in England 500, 600,000 years ago or something." And you know, later research on it and understanding like fracture mechanics showed that no, these were all just naturally occurring from
There's been
rocks.
a lot of misfires in England. I'm learning. A
I
lot of
know.
misfires.
And then just real quick, there's a really good DVD by Dr. Bruce Bradley, who's an archaeologist. It came out in 1999. And he gives really quick, it's like 45 minutes, but he gives like a really quick demonstration and kind of talks about the mechanics of making a stone tool. And really what we're looking at is when you strike a tool or you strike a stone with another stone, the energy goes into that stone in the shape of a cone. Okay. So if you think about when a BB hits a plate glass window, you know how
Yes,
that
it goes
BB
in
goes
small and then
right,
comes out.
right, in the
Yes.
shape of a cone.
That's another thing I've learned from CSI.
Right,
Bullets
right,
come out bigger on the other side.
right. But that's the thing.
Okay.
We're putting that energy in there. So think about that BB hitting a storefront window. That's what we're doing when we flint knap a stone tool. We're creating that cone on the in the stone itself.
I see.
And what we're going to do is we're going to try to hit it on the edge of the stone. Okay.
Okay.
And when we do that, part of the cone's still going to be made by that energy going through it, but part of the cone is going to be inside of the stone. Part of it's going to hit the edge of the stone and then bounce back. That energy is going to bounce back, like going through water almost. And when it bounces back, and it meets that other energy that was going out from the cone, that's what's going to cause the flake to crack off. It's going to.
All right.
So again, I'm telling you, this is really
is thought through. Jesus.
I know. So then really quick before we go, you have to look at the edge, the angle that you're looking at that you're going to be striking has to be less than 90 degrees. So you see how this edge here is less than 90 degrees.
Okay, I found an edge. Edge.
Has to, if it's over 90, it won't work. You won't get a flake off of it. And then when you strike it,
they had to have some sort of device. They had to invent degrees. So degrees and math were invented way before flint knapping.
They were thinking about it. At least, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like it was in there, like an astrology. Like Lucy, believe it or not, in that little or tangerine-sized brain, was thinking about these, if she was the one producing those things, or at least Homo habilis, was thinking about these angles, whether or not they labeled them that or not. It was there.
No protractor.
I know. The other thing, John, when you strike it, you're going to have to be coming in at less than 90 degrees. So you can't strike it straight down, and you can't strike it from the side. You want it to be...
It's got to be like a glancing blow, kind of.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
So
all right.
I think we're ready now.
Wow.
So let's go ahead.
I don't feel ready, but yes. I'm looking at this rock. I'm going, what?
Yeah, there's no... we'll try a couple different things. We'll try the hard hammer. And remember, you're just trying to get a flake off of it first. Okay. You're just trying to get a little flake.
Just to get it started.
Right. And then we'll work it with the other stuff. We'll work it with the other... So
all right.
So if you want, you can kind of rub the edge with this stone, the rough stone.
Oh, you do that first?
Yeah, you can kind of get it ready just so that it knows to. Okay.
All right. That just kind of gets it. I'm letting the rock know I'm about to do something to you.
Right. Okay.
Ooh, that does.
So now,
something. Okay.
Are we ready? We'll try. We're going to strike. You could put some, I would put a towel down on your lap.
Yeah. Okay.
And kind of hold it there just to protect your leg. And actually,
I can't use the table, I guess. I was going to put it on the table, but I can't do that. There were no tables.
Right.
Shit, that makes it harder.
So
Thank God I'm good at cupping things.
Yeah, and it was probably I don't know. They must have like been smashing for hundreds of thousands of years of smashing fingers and like cutting
Oh my
themselves.
God, just the amount of the sound. Oh my God, what are they doing over there? I don't know. Ow! Fuck!
All right, so let's do it. So it's got to come in. You have to hold it to where it's coming in at a less than 90-degree angle.
Right. Tap it. Right. Got it. Okay.
Oh,
something's coming off.
Oh yeah. So I struck it too hard. You see, I went too deep in there. Took off too much of a one. So
God damn it. Oh Jesus. Me too. Well, I made a sharp edge, but I've now done it into 3. There's Abyssinian all over the place.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's keep going. Let's try that. We'll try it again.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, wait. I'm using the wrong rock now.
I got. That's not a very good one. That's like a little tiny flake.
I hope I'm not breaking my wife's table here.
I can't. Try to explain that.
Ooh. I got a little. I got some flakes. I got a flake. That flake came off.
Okay, perfect. That's pretty good. See how it goes? Take a look at that flake again, John.
Yeah.
See how the energy has come through in like ripples?
Yes.
In that?
Yes.
So that's what
you can see it.
Yeah. That's what we're talking about.
This is good. I think I could do it. I think I'd be good for the tribe. Wait a minute.
All right. So let's
Ow, fuck. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Ow.
All right.
I didn't hit my thumb, but I'm just so weak. I'm such a little dipshit.
All right. So try to pick out a flake that you can use, that you can shape. I didn't get very many good ones here.
I got this.
It's a lot harder.
This came off. Do you think this is good? Look, it looks sharp on one side.
We could use that for I don't think you could kill an elephant with that.
No, but I could definitely stab my hand.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Let me try one more time.
All right.
Okay. All right, so let's take one of your pieces now that you have.
Okay. Now we're going to use the antler, I bet.
Right. We'll try the antler, and you can begin to shape that.
Hey, this thing came with your stuff. What's that? Is that anything we're going to use?
A piece of leather that you can use to hold. If you didn't have leather gloves, you could use
that piece of leather. I see. That's probably what they did, they're saying.
Yeah.
So we're cheating by using the gloves, basically.
Right.
All right.
So now what you can do, you could use this one. You would use for like soft hammer. So again, you could use it to kind of shape.
Worked. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Boy, I'm gonna have to vacuum after this show.
I told you. I told you that was.
Yeah, you did. Ooh, this is kind of getting. Uh-oh.
You could try, John. Try that on the flint as well. You can use that.
What's the? Will I start a fire?
It'll spark. I was. This sounds like an NPR. This is like an NPR story. You know how they always start with like in the smallest Flintknapping studio outside.
Oh, this would drive me crazy trying to sleep while everybody's working on their. Be like, stop.
Yeah, never.
But Dale, you've been up all night. Finish it tomorrow.
You know, the worst part is like a lot of this will break. Like you'll be working on something and you'll overwork it.
Right.
Know?
And then you just be like, fuck. Well, that's all. I've got I don't even know what I'm doing over here now. Then do I go to this thing?
Yeah. So then you'll take that one.
Yeah.
So if you see how I have this flake here.
Uh-huh.
And you can
yours looks good.
Well, it was because
Was it an accident?
it was an accident, yeah.
But that's kind of part of it, right? It's like,
well, if you know what you're doing, there should be little accidents in there because you kind of know what the stone will do when you hit it.
ooh, this.
But you
looks
begin
like
to shape that, and pressure flaking, usually you'll push into this on the edge of the stone,
I found
and
a
then you'll
place.
in and down. But for this one, you may have to just kind of shape it
Ooh,
a little bit.
I don't know what
into
I'm
the-
doing, but I'm doing something.
Just shape it into the shape of an arrowhead.
Well,
So.
here's what I got working.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
That's good.
right?
Yeah.
Most of it was an accident. Look, I just finished this.
Wow, you're like a bonobo. You really picked it right up.
Weirdly,
so anyway,
mine turned out. Is this looking right? Am I getting close?
It looks fantastic. He's holding up an actual knife. Right.
Mine looks like safety glasses now. Look at that.
Look at really thin obsidian.
I can't stop
But
with
anyway,
that joke.
John.
Wow.
But you get the.
See, I like setting mine down,
Yeah.
but is that not allowed? Like if there was a big rock, I would use the rock as like a little table.
Yeah, there's no rules to it, like over 100,000 years you would have figured out whether to set it on another rock and then
You know what's weird?
What's that?
My vocabulary is increasing as I hit these tools.
I noticed that. I was just looking at you so intent hammering away with that antler.
My son just walked by the way. Look at me like I'm making I'm making tools. Okay.
I picked up this one. I thought that I was gonna like Flintknap that one. That's actually a lozenge. I'm gonna have to throw all of these away because there's pieces of obsidian have gotten in with my lozenges that I have on my desk.
They did. Lozenges were used for arrows. They used those for arrows.
All right, John. Well, I think you get the idea.
This is great. This is
how it was, and it's a lot harder than you would think. You think you'd just be able to pick it up and start making knives and arrowheads.
No.
And to think, again at that time period.
Sorry.
That's fine. I love seeing somebody who's so eager, who really takes.
Yeah. Well, I accidentally got a good edge on this flint. So I'll work on it later.
But again, if you just see the complexity of it, of 2.5 million years ago, 3.3 million years ago, these prehistoric hominins, whether it was conscious or unconscious, were able to make these calculations to create these tools. And to me, it's like, it does blow my mind. It stones me of how complicated it is and how we just did it naturally, or our ancestors did it naturally.
Yeah.
And it's just the mental capacity to be able to like see a piece of stone and think about what you wanted to make out of it.
Right.
And the imagination that was, you had to have imagination to think of what you were going to do with that piece of stone. And then actually to get down and calculate the angle and the amount of force to make the stone. It's just astounding to me. So
it really is, and it's just like working without trying to. You need tools to make a tool.
Right. Right. Like a tool would help you to do another tool. Like you had to make that antler, shape that antler so that you could use that antler to hit the obsidian, for example.
Right. Wow. This is great. This one we're gonna send to the streamies. Or the whatever it is. The potties.
The streamies. I can't wait to the potty. I can't wait to get a potty. Put that on my shelf. The potty.
Yep.
Anyway, John,
Wow.
I think we've come to an
Thank you so
end.
much. You've done an amazing job once again. You are incredible.
Be sure to vacuum. Okay, I don't
Yeah,
want you
no
to,
shit. Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. If you
is,
enjoyed this,
oh, sorry. Go ahead. I was going to say this is human number 2 signing off.
and this is human number 1. If you enjoyed this podcast and found it interesting, please tell a friend about it. And if you have any questions or any topics that you think humanity should know about, be sure to send us a message on Facebook or email. Thanks a lot, everybody.
And if you make a stone tool at home, send us a picture.
yeah. But safety first. I don't want to see. Don't contact us if you cut yourself or like.
Yeah, we're not responsible.
But if you do it, let us know.
Please do. All right.
All right, everybody. Love you guys. Thanks,
Love
John.
you.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.